Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. In today's Brother Scan and Cut Tips and Tricks tutorial, you're going to learn how to create a layered oval window to use for a shaker card. We're going to be creating A2 cards, so that means that your card base, let me turn it around, it's actually, oh no, that was right. Okay, your card base, in this case, it doesn't matter if it opens to the right or to the top, it's an A2 card, and the card base is 5.5 by 4.25. Okay, so with that said, the first rectangle we're going to create is going to be 1/4 inch smaller than that. It's going to be 5.25, 5.25 this way, by 4 inches across. Okay, that we're going to do the outside rectangle first, and we're going to do that in cardstock. Then I'm going to show you how to do the Designer Series paper layer, and then I'm going to give you lots of other tips and tricks along the way, like grouping, ungrouping, aligning, different things like that. Alignment on your scan and cut. Let's see, maybe even how to make the shaker cards. Let's see, depending on the time. So I'm going to say hi as you come in. That's good. Hi, Gina. All right, so I'm going to just click on, there's pattern and scan. And I'm going to, so we're going to start out on the home screen of the scan and cut. Okay, the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the pattern. Because we don't have anything to scan, we're going to use a built-in pattern. One of the things I love about the scan and cut, and by the way, this will work on any and every model of scan and cut since the beginning of time. So please don't ask me, will it work on my scan and cut? This will work on any scan and cut from the beginning of time since they created them. They all come with these built-in shapes, and these are very basic shapes. I just happen to be using an STX 125. And so you can do this on any model of scan and cut you have. Oh wow, so many of you are coming in. I'm going to have to say hi in a moment once we start cutting. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a rectangle. So you could select a rectangle shape, but I just like to show you something here. I'm going to select the square shape, and I'm going to turn it into a rectangle. So so in other words, it's a square. So if I were to change the height and width, they'd stay in proportion. If I would change the height or width, it stays in proportion. But when you click this button here, you can take any shape that would stay in proportion and change the height and width independently. So what I'll do is I'm going to make the height 5.25, because remember, well, I don't know if you remember, if you just got here you might not remember, but this card is 5.5 long. That's why this outer rectangle is going to be 5.25, to have that 1/4 inch margin. And the width is going to be 4 because the card itself is 4.25. Okay, I had to show you this just as a visual to make sure you really get this down. Okay, so let's start with that. Write that down or take a screenshot. I'm sorry, not yet. 4 inches. Oops, like that. Don't write that one down. Write this one down. 4 inches by 5.25. There. So I leave the little beeping sounds on. It doesn't bother me. So that's what I'm doing for the outer rectangle. Okay, so wow, we got lots of you coming in. Hi, Chris from Iowa, and another Chris, spelled differently, and Darlene from Ohio, and Bella from Oregon, Vicky from Washington, Gloria. Wow, Cindy has another friend from Iowa. That's cool. Crushing the computer in backgammon. What an interesting name for your YouTube channel. Hello from Canada. Linda from Michigan. All right, we're going to get back to it. So we're going to click on set. So now what we have is a rectangle, but we want to make a hole in it. We want to make the hole in the rectangle for the window card or shaker card. We're making a shaker card is the final goal of this activity. So we're going to add another shape, and we're going to get it out of the patterns again. And this time we're going to create an oval. So we're going to go down and get the oval. Don't worry that the oval's going a different direction. Don't worry that the oval goes this way, because you're going to change the proportions of your oval. So we're going to get BA-A059. Don't worry, all this will be in the description of this video at some point in the future. So you can also take screenshots, and you can also go back and watch it. So what we want to do is, again, if we were to change the height and the width, they would stay in proportion. So again, this is the button you need to click. So click this button so that the height and width can be changed independently of each other. So now we need the height of our oval to be, okay, let's make sure we get this one, 2.75 or 2 3/4 Okay? And it's going to be 2 inches wide. I've been making this same pattern for a few years now. A couple years ago, I did a tutorial similar to this one, and it was featuring the birthday Bonanza suite with such cute birthday characters. So I'll link to that in the video in the description as well, because you can see a whole different way to use the shaker cards. But there's the oval, and I'll leave that there for a moment in case you want to take notes. Okay, this oval is going to go into our rectangle shape. So that way I can keep saying hi. Wow. Lots of you guys come into my ScanNCut tutorial videos. I hope you will start coming to my Rainbow of Happiness workshop series as well, which is here on YouTube. So I'll show you some projects from that series using the Rainbow of Happiness that I'm working on right now. All right. Hello, Sharon. I'm glad your order is on its merry way to you. Hello, Caroline from Australia. Ginger from Wisconsin. Robin, Dolores, Anne from Quebec, Pamela. Pamela's watching from bed. Okay. We got to do our crafting when I get done my projects. Hello, Gail from New York. Susie from Illinois. Katie from Washington. All right. And Susie. Hey, it's never late. Don't worry. And New Hampshire, Priscilla. Okay, we're going to click set. Priscilla from New Hampshire. What we're going to do now is we're going to take this oval and we're going to put it in there. Now, it's not enough to just put it in there. In fact, let's just leave it out there for a second. We need to really align it. For this whole process to work, our whole process will fall apart if we're not using the built-in alignment tools. So let's just leave them separated out there for a second. You could try to align it with the eyeballing it, but that wouldn't work, right? We want to use the power of the ScanNCut. So let's just go into this edit, and we're going to first select the objects on the screen. So we're going to use the selection tool here. Right, this is the little boxes. These are the red boxes. They're for selection. We're going to select everything, which happens to be the only 2 things on the screen. We're going to select everything, this button here. Now, we're going to then align these objects. The idea right now is we're aligning the outer oval, or the inner oval, I should say. We're aligning this oval to the inside of our rectangle so that it cuts out precisely in the right spot. So we're going to go to Object Edit. And we're going, not Object Edit. We're going to go to this one right here with we're going to do that later though. We have to group them. This one here is alignment, the little 4 arrows, the 4 arrows to align. And we're going to go up to these alignment tools, which are up here. And we want to align these 2 objects. It doesn't matter where they're at or how far apart they are. We want to align them in relation to each other, vertically centered. That's this button here. Watch the little crosshairs align to each other. Look at that. Yay! But they're still not aligned horizontally centered. So we're going to use this button. Okay, now we need to go. We don't want this to fall apart. We want this to stay together. Okay, like peanut butter and jelly, they got to stay together. We're going to click OK. We need to go to Object Edit while they're still both selected. And we need to group. Don't weld them. Don't hit weld. That's going to be something different. We use that. I teach that in my courses. Links to courses in the description for more details. Okay, this one. The group. You want to click group. Okay. So now at this point, if you want, we can make 4 of them. Okay. So, I mean, I personally never just do 1. So I would think it's a good idea to make 4 of these. So I'm going to just show you how, and then just for the purposes of, I just want to show you how to make 4 of them, but we're going to just cut out 1. So let's go here to make 4. And I want to tell you why I'm making 4. And it has to do with the way the cardstock is. So we're going to click on 4. That's up in the Object Edit. And now they're a hot mess. They're on top of each other, but we have lots of tips and tricks. That's what this channel is all about. We're going to click OK. And we're going to use what's called the auto layout. The reason I want to make 4, but I'm not making 4, but the reason I would make 4 is I'm going to use a piece of, here, let's move this away. Let's move my camera, or here. Let's move this back here for a second. Okay, this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. Can you see that? Stampin' Up! Cardstock, which coordinates with the rainbows that we're using today. This is Magenta Madness. I'm going to cut a piece of Magenta Madness. I'm just going to go ahead and put this down on the mat. Although I'm only going to cut 1. Okay, but the reason I would cut 4 is because I can exactly get 4 of these card bases on 1 piece of cardstock. So let's go ahead and, oops, click. I didn't mean to hit that. Click on this auto layout. Okay, and we're going to click on the first option, which just lays it out any which way. It's going to turn these whichever way it needs to, and it's going to lay these out on my mat for me in a certain way. Okay, so when I'm cutting these, there's no way I would just cut one. Look how perfectly 4 fit on a piece of 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And then I would click OK and I would click cut. But because of, the fact that I'm on YouTube and I don't want my crafty friends to wait forever, right? I'm going to go back. It's not going to take that long to cut, but I would do that. I would cut them and I would click start. And it only would take 2 minutes. But let's just instead, just for the sake of, I'm just going to go back and get rid of a few of these. Because I really just need one to teach this concept. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of these. I'm just deleting the ones I don't want. But yes, you would, if you're watching this and you're crafting along with me, definitely just make 4. When you're making them, make 4. I've already made, I think, 8 today. And I'll be making more later. And that way, you're just using your paper efficiently. Okay, so what it's doing now is I'm using an auto blade technology. So it's determining the blade depth of the paper. The blade depth is automatic, so it's determining how deep does it need to go. That's what it's determining. How thick is your paper? Okay. It's determining that, and then it's determining how the pressure and blade depth it needs. So let's show you how to remove this from the mat. Normally, I don't like to cut up close to the top left edge of my mat because things get caught up under my mat. I'm keeping it real. I like to actually cut on this side of the mat. However, my mat's pretty sticky because I recently restuck it. If you want to know how to restick your mat using what's called two-way glue, instead of having to buy new mats all the time, see how sticky? Hear that sound? I love the sound of a sticky mat. Then go ahead and watch several of my tutorials on how to restick your mat. There's so many of them. I probably have done it at least 5 times on this channel, plus in my courses. Anyway, so now we have an oval window for a shaker card. That would already be cute enough as it is. How cute is that? You just put it on a coordinating piece of cardstock. Let me show you. And you would have a cute little window for your shaker card. Okay, and you could emboss this and you could do things to it. But wouldn't it be cuter when we layer it with designer series paper? That coordinates? Yes, it would be much cuter. So let's take out some designer series paper. This is free right now in our celebration brochure. So please check out the link in the description. This paper, you can't buy this paper. It's just free. You're free when you spend $50. Let me find it. There it is. Okay. So you want to place an order if you're in the U.S. And if you're not, find a demonstrator where you live. But in the U.S., I'm a demonstrator, and you can place an order and get this paper for free. All right, so I'm going to cut out a window with this paper. We're going to take this piece here, and we'll do the orientation in a moment. We'll turn it the right way. Now for this one, you could do 4 at once, but you could put the papers in different parts of the mat and cut out different windows. But we'll just cut one, and I'm going to cut it over here. So let's just show you. I'm going to put the paper right here. Sunshine and rainbows. Oops. Okay, wait. We might have to orient it this way. I think I'm going to orient it this way. No, you know what? I'm actually going to do it this way. I'm going to turn the rectangle back around so you can see it. Only because I want you to understand the same measurements I'm giving you. And I like to make this a vertical card. All right. So it's oriented that way. So therefore, we got to orient our rectangle back the way it was. So why did it get oriented this way in the first place? It got oriented that way to make the most out of your efficiency for cutting 4 on a mat. So let's go ahead and edit this and rotate it. Object edit and rotate. Okay, this is the rotate button. Rotate 90 degrees. Now we're back to this. So you can even, if you're not back to this, this is the way you had it in the first place. Just to make sure, object edit, remember this when we resized it, there it was. So I haven't done anything different. I've just rotated it back the way that because in the show notes, I call them show notes, or in the description of the video, I have the measurements going by height and width. That's why I want to make sure I turned it back this way. Now, let's do something. I got to talk about this. There is something called an offset in here. Like you can use offsets to make things, to make these shapes like grow bigger and smaller, but it's a lot easier just to use new measurements for this particular effect. And I wanted to make so what I need now is, the overall concept is I need to ungroup these. Let's first ungroup these. Okay, and let's take this oval and let's move it away for a second. Now let me tell you about the concept here. The concept is that we need this rectangle, this one here, of the designer series paper to be 1/4 inch smaller than the cardstock. Okay, Hope that makes sense. I'll show you examples of finished projects later, but we're just doing the concepts right now. These pieces of designer series paper we're cutting need to be a 1/4 inch smaller than the rectangle. So we already know that this is 4 inches across by 5.25. So you're going to go in here and you're going to make that, right? You can even put the proportion on this time. You want to make this, actually, we'll just go ahead and do it. We'll fix it in a minute. 5 by 3.75. Okay, 5 by 3.75. Why? Because the designer series paper is a 1/4 inch smaller. All right, I'm going to leave that there for a second before I tell you about the next concept. Let me tell you about the next concept. Because I want to make sure we have this down pat. All right. So we said hi to Susie and Katie from Washington. And let's see who else came in. Priscilla from New Hampshire, Judy from New Mexico, Sandy from Illinois, and Cheryl from Melbourne, Australia. Awesome. Hello and welcome, newbies. All right, newbies to this video, not newbies to my channel. All right, so what we need now, I hope you got this concept down. This rectangle needs to be smaller than the original. However, this oval needs to be larger than the original. Yes, larger. Why? So that we can have this kind of effect. We want to decorate. Now, last year I did it a different way, so that's why I'm going to link to my birthday bonanza video. I actually, instead of making this bigger, what I did is I taught you how to make oval rings that you put around there. Just another color of cardstock, but I kind of like this effect better, so I just tried it different ways this year, or 2 years ago. I don't know how long ago that was. So now we need to take this oval and make it a 1/4 inch bigger than it is. Okay, so this is bigger. So we're going to go, maybe 3 inches by 2. Oops, let's turn this 3 inches by. Hey Nola, how's it going? 2.25. 2.25. All right, so this therefore, this piece of designer series paper oval is going to be a 1/4 inch bigger than, so it's going to end up giving us that effect. But again, we need to do that alignment. So this part's a review where we're going to click on, okay, so we need to select all the shapes on the mat, select everything, right? Go in here to this alignment tool, up here, align vertically, align horizontally, okay. Okay, if I'm going fast, it's because I just did all this earlier, so this is a review. Object edit, group. Okay, there we are. Now, that's why I oriented my paper back that way. My paper's already on the mat. My designer series paper, sunshine and rainbows. Click OK, OK, OK a few times. You don't have to click OK as much on a CM machine. This SDX machine makes you click OK a crazy amount of times. But you just click OK a few times. And now it's cutting. So speaking of CM machines, say you have a CM machine and you're watching and you said, Papered Chef, you said I could do this on the CM machines. Yes, absolutely. You just need to use your own blade depth. You need to set your blade depth manually as opposed to this is auto blade. So your blade depth is going to be a blade depth of 3 when you're cutting designer series paper. Blade depth of 3, Stampin' Up! Designer series paper. And a blade depth of 4 when you're cutting cardstock. Stampin' Up! Cardstock, like the one we cut earlier, Magenta Madness. I don't know if I mentioned the color. This is Magenta Madness. I like to use the different colors that coordinate. There's a little thing catching on there. I got to grab my scissors. Sometimes when it catches on, you just got to snip it off. All right, so let's do this. Where'd my cardstock go? Here we go. Let's show you the finished product. All right, we have our outer cardstock. And don't ever try to make a shaker card without using like your outer, right? I don't know if that was the exact one I used earlier. Let's see if this is it. Let's just do this one. Okay, because I have so many of these floating around. Okay, I must have done, so it's 4 by 5 by 3.75. It looks like there's a little bit more on the bottom here. Let's see. That part's right. I must have done something. It's supposed to look like that, and it seems like I have a little bit left over on the bottom. Not sure why. But either way, I'm still very happy with it. Okay, so what you want is, again, in the description will be the exact measurements. So now, what you're going to do is you're going to make your shaker card. And let's see how much time we have. Okay, good. We have time to make our shaker card. I'm just thinking that there's something with that one, though. So we're going to use one of these just for a... All right, we're going to use one of these cards. We're going to take this card, and we'll just do that one because it's halfway done. So first, you use your rolling adhesive and attach this. Now let me get my table cleared a little bit here. So what I'm going to do is unload the mat, take out these circles, do this, move that over. All right, so tilting this down. Shake it up, baby, now. We're doing a shaker card. So I'm using a piece of Pool Party cardstock. We're going to use this piece. Now, if you want, you can do this cute little, you can take one, so attach those two layers together, and you can take this cute little extra ovals, because you're going to cut a bunch of these. Put that under there. I'm just going to put it under there for a second, just for reference, just to know where to put it, right? It's a little bigger, so it's kind of forgiving. Put that one under there. All right, and like that. All right, so see what I'm doing? I'm just putting it up under there for reference. Just putting it down for a second. Down. Okay, it's good enough. I was just putting it, knowing where to glue it is all. So this little extra oval, I mean, sometimes I use the extra ovals and sometimes I didn't. So that one is like that. Now that would already be a cute card as it is. But let's make it a shaker card and make it even cuter, right? And definitely save all these little extra bits and pieces, right? So we're going to take your acetate window, and of course you can cut this with your ScanNCut, your acetate window. However, we have these window sheets. I just find it's a lot easier, just to eyeball it. And I'm not using my nice ScanNCut or my nice Stampin' Up scissors for this. I'm using an old pair. Because acetate kind of dulls your blade, and I have like a dedicated blade to using acetate and window sheets. But these are just these are just window sheets. So we sell for $5, you get two 12 by 12 window sheets. I think it's $5. Very reasonable. And they're super thick, thicker than like the transparency film that you can also use. So I'm going to put that there. It's a window. And we're going to turn this, it's going to put it on this one. So we need a window that's just bigger than our oval. And it has to be very flat down there. So we're going to take our Stampin' seal. I use Seal Plus adhesive because it has the little ridges, and I like it better than the regular seal. But you're going to use some kind of rolling adhesive. Don't use glue because it just oozes out, right? See the little ridges? I love these little ridges. It's easy to handle. So I'm putting the window on there, okay? Or the acetate window sheet. So now that's good. And now now that's going to be right there. So still, it's already cute, but wouldn't it be cuter when we put we're going to take these are called foam adhesive strips. All of these materials I'm using will be linked in the description of the video. It just takes me a while, but I'm giving you the names of them so you can look them up. They're called foam adhesive strips. They're great for making shaker cards because what you do is you put them around your window like this. And before that, you've seen me on this channel for many years struggling before I had these foam adhesive sheets with cutting up my dimensional packets and making my own little sheets. So if you don't have these and you only have dimensional packets, then what I was doing before that is cutting the edge of all my dimensional packets, see? Cutting the edges, rounding them up. Boy, what a pain that was. It was a very big pain. So these are really great because they're very easy to just sort of curve around. Now this one I should be using my good Stampin' Up scissors for it, but because I need to get in there in a fine way, but I don't know where they went off to. But when you're cutting acetate, use your cheapy scissors because it gets dull. I hope I don't cut. There we go. We want to get in there as good as close as possible. All right, now. Okay, so we want to make sure there's no gaps because the confetti, not confetti. Well, if you could use confetti, the little pieces will fall out if there are gaps in there. You know, the little, what are they called? Sequins? Here, these things, the sequins. These are called sequins for everything. I'll leave that name there so you can write that down if you want to get sequins for everything. And I'm even using some retired ones because these had some pink in it. From My Heart Faceted Gems. I'm using these too because I liked a little touch of pink in there to go with my Magenta Madness. But these ones are not retired. Sequins for everything. And they give you a pretty lot in there. It's a healthy portion of sequins. And they are reflective, so they sort of take on the colors of things around them. So whatever color paper kind of takes on that color. It's really nice. I like using those reflective surfaces. All right, so I don't know, did that come off? That came off already. Usually you don't take the adhesive off until after it's on the paper, but it's kind of deciding to come off on its own, which is fine. I'll just tuck it under there. It's all good. And let's get another one. All right. You could cut the pieces off or just tuck them off under there. All righty. Do I have them all? If you're not sure, hold them up to the light or just poke around. Make sure you have them all. And then what you want to do is in between, just so your card's not droopy and you want to be professional, so take some extra ones and your card that way will never droop. You're just putting a few extra little dimensionals inside your card so that your card doesn't droop as people touch it and shake it and everything. All right, so now put this off to the side. And I say off to the side, way over there, because things just start sticking to it. You'll see what I mean. If you don't put it over there, like the static just makes things start sticking to it. So I have a few of these little, I don't like to use the big ones for shaker cards because the big ones are too cute and I just glue them onto things. But there's some small pink ones in here and some white ones. And what I'm just doing is, this is just my retired stash. So save all your little things, you know. You can make shaker cards out of them. Save all your little, there you go. So just a few of those, little touch of pink. And then I like this one because it matches my Mango Melody color that's in the card. And we'll do some green. Okay, there's different shades of green in here. These are good sequins for Christmas shaker cards, but they're also good for, I don't want too many reds because I rather have pink. But then there's these clear ones. So these are good. Gold and silver ones are good. We'll add a bunch of them in there. And the static makes them stick all over your hands, but pile them up in the middle. All right, and then you're going to take, let me cover this up because I tend to make a big mess on my table. Just cover this up. Sequins for everything. All right, put that there and there and there. And now we put the card on. And hopefully we're not upside down. I guess it really wouldn't matter. Oh, it does matter because the rainbow pattern. All right, here we go. I just like to flick it a little because I hate the static. So I like to get rid of any static. All right. Let's put it down. So pile all your little sequins in the middle. Push down, push down. Ah! Okay. Shake it up, baby, now. And you have a happy, happy card. Happy, happy card. So then what you want to do is you want to take, we can use Flirty Flamingo. I don't know how dark it'll be. I'm just grabbing the nearest ink here. And you make me happy when skies are gray. You know what? I don't even need to, I'm not even going to do this part because not that I don't like Flirty Flamingo, but I don't think this color is going to go good with that color. What you really need is Misty Moonlight, but it doesn't matter because you know how to do it. So now I'm going to show you my finished shaker cards, okay? And then I'm going to show you some other things you can make with this suite. Okay, now at least, do I have to have something different to cut it? Cut foam piece for the shaker. You don't want to cut the foam pieces for the shaker cards on your ScanNCut. I mean, you can. You can cut the foam pieces for the, I don't know if the ScanNCut, it's probably going to be a big hot mess. I would probably not cut the foam pieces. They're kind of thick for your ScanNCut. Do you know what I mean? And you're going to end up with a big mess, and it's going to get caught up. Unless you have a big foam sheet. We do have foam sheets, which are big, solid sheets. And then you can cut them. But if you try to cut, well, no, you wouldn't cut these because they're already cut for you. I don't know. Sometimes I just say use the right tool for the job. And that is not trying to cut foam with the ScanNCut. Although you can, but you need the big, solid pieces of foam. Okay? So yes. Not the right tool for the job. Like someone in my ScanNCut user group the other day was like, I want to make mailing labels with my ScanNCut. Everybody helped her and it was great. And they told her how and she got it. And my members of the ScanNCut user group were really friendly and helping her. But my attitude was like, why in the world are you creating mailing labels with your ScanNCut? Like don't waste your time doing something that's not the right tool for the job. Use your printer and some label maker paper. But I mean, that's not to say you can't make, just because you can do something with the ScanNCut doesn't mean you should do something with the ScanNCut. Right? Does that make sense? But I mean, everyone helped her figure it out, and she was a champ, and she didn't give up, and I love it, and she had a great project, and I'm so happy for her. But I just would not have ever made mailing labels with my ScanNCut. There's just like 1,000 things to do with it instead of that. Like 1,000 other things you could do with this machine besides something like that. All right. So anyway, my projects. So I have this. So in this paper, one of the really fun things about this paper, this double-sided, you get 6-inch sheets, and there's like 48 in a pack. But one of the things is that it has there's this punch that we have, and as you know from using the ScanNCut, it's kind of hard to cut out things that have little gaps in them, because you'd have to use the pencil trick and try to get around there and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, if you don't know what the pencil trick is, it's vocabulary I use on my channel a lot. You can look up what the pencil trick is and cut out things that have gaps in them. But again, the punch is the right tool for the job for these clouds. Like, right? So we put them, that's how I got all the clouds, and I put them on my card. Okay? So I put 2 clouds on each card from the Designer Series paper. And then I used a different, so this one was the Rainbow of Happiness stamp set. You Make Me Happy. And I did the little same thing, putting the rainbow oval inside. Okay? And I put some Brush Best butterflies on it. And I stamped it in Bermuda Bay. Now this one, and I did the 2 clouds and everything. Okay? So, and this one's Granny Apple Green. This one is Pool Party, and I didn't put the oval, I didn't put one of these behind it, because I wanted the Pool Party color to stick out because it matched the clouds. And I could have put a little happy rainbow behind it with the extra ovals, because your ovals are bigger, so they're very forgiving. You have all this room to accidentally turn them each way, because you have all that room where that cardstock is. Now for this one, I used Blessings of Home stamp set and Misty Moonlight ink, okay, for this sentiment. So you don't need to have this piece on the back. So those are a couple examples, and I want to show you some more things made with Sunshine and Rainbows Designer Series paper, because I do have a whole workshop series going on right now on my channel. Yeah, a solid sheet of foam. Okay, dryer sheet is the tip that the power tip Gloria is giving, is use a dryer sheet for anti-static so that things don't stick to the front. If right now they're not sticking because I had some, issues with them sticking. So I was kind of flicking them around and rubbing them on my clothes, my pieces of my piece of window sheet there, right? I was rubbing it on my clothes. You can get rid of the static by rubbing a dryer sheet over it before you put your little crystals, or not crystals, your little, why am I calling them crystals? Sequins, your little sequins in there. Okay, so you can, yeah. And hi, Marilyn. And Mike from Virginia. Oh, West Virginia. Sorry, I don't got to get that straight. Hey, these look like Easter eggs. Okay, good. This would make a good Easter shaker card. Nola, good point. They do look like Easter eggs. So save them for that. Okay. And Laurie's going to go back and watch from her sewing room. And Donna, glad you tuned in. All right. Let's just talk about the rainbow things, and then I'm done for the day. Okay, so Rainbow of Happiness. I have a workshop series going on YouTube. And I'm teaching you how to make this box here, which I also taught in my ScanNCut courses. So those of you that took my boxes and envelopes course, I believe, or it could have been in my A to Z course. But there are links to my courses, and there's coupons in the description. You can make this box with the ScanNCut, but you can also make it easily with the trimmer and simply scored, and that's how we're going to make it on my channel, is we're not going to make it without the ScanNCut. But in my courses, I do teach how to do it on the ScanNCut. I taught how to make these recently on my YouTube channel, diaper folds and treat toppers using the Rainbow of Happiness collection here, Rainbow of Happiness bundle, which is stamps and dies. Here's something I did for Celebration Card Club, which is another series going on my YouTube channel. Okay, here's something I did in my YouTube series called Ink It Up. These I need to mail out. I don't know why I still have these, but probably because I didn't take pictures of them. Probably why I still have them. We're going to do some watercoloring in my Rainbow of Happiness series. We did this card using some die cutting techniques in my series. And we made that card. Here's some more watercoloring techniques using, these two are using our watercolor papers. I'll be using watercolor pencils. This is also watercoloring. I think I want to do the watercoloring next. Either next or the one after that. Okay, and then, so these are just, and here's some more watercoloring. We're going to make this box in my series. So it's a really, really fun thing. And I have a Rainbow of Happiness bingo. Those of you that get my newsletter know about the bingo coming up in March. And in March, we're going to be making all these cards using the Rainbow of Happiness Designer Series, or Sunshine and Rainbows Designer Series paper and Rainbow of Happiness stamp set. So I hope you like all these project samples. And I hope you will check out other things on my channel, because there's lots of stuff here, including paper pumpkin videos, tutorials on how to make cards, and lots of stamping and coloring techniques. Well, that's all for now. This is the Paper Chef. Thank you for joining me today. See you again real soon.